tonight, hotel death. An investigation is underway after a man dies in a suspected fall in Ibiza. Also tonight, the Prime Minister is to meet Donald Trump in Scotland. The US President will visit his golf courses here later this month, including the Many Estate in Aberdeenshire. And coming together, the Island Games are underway in Orkney in a celebration of sport and island communities from around the world.
Friendships are formed. I mean, you know, the sporting events are obviously hugely important, but for me, equally as important is that whole thing of just lots and lots of different islands getting together and making pals.
I'm Sharon Donaldson, and this is the STV News at 6, live from Aberdeen. Good evening. The mother of an Aberdeen man who has reportedly died at a fall at a hotel on a Spanish island says his family are heartbroken. It's believed Evan Thompson was celebrating his birthday in Ibiza when the incident happened. Well, Stephen is in the newsroom for us. Stephen, what more do we know about this?
Well, it's understood that Evan Thompson was celebrating his 26th birthday in Ibiza last week when the incident happened. He was staying at a popular resort known as the Ibiza Rocks Hotel when it's reported he fell from a height and was later pronounced dead at the scene. Now, his mother has posted a social media to say his family are heartbroken at what she's described as a tragic accident that took place while Mr Thompson was on holiday with friends. One friend has described Mr Thompson as someone who always had a smile on his face and will be sadly missed. Now, we've contacted the hotel, although we're yet to receive a response, but in a statement to some newspapers, a spokesperson said it was a tragic and sad situation. They said their senior management team on site did everything possible to help the police with their investigation into the events leading up to Evan's death and say their thoughts are with Evan's family. The Foreign Office say they're supporting the family of a British national who has died in Spain, are in contact with the local authorities.
OK, Stephen, thank you. Donald Trump will meet face-to-face with Keir Starmer and John Swinney in Scotland later this month, with the US President set to jet in for a visit to his Scottish golf resorts. Well, confirmation of the talk sets the stage for a major police operation. Our Westminster correspondent, Paris Goutsianis, joins us now. Paris, what do we know about the visit and this meeting?
Well, a presidential visit to Scotland has been expected because there's a new golf course at the Trump Aberdeenshire resort waiting to be unveiled. But it's been confirmed with this news that Keir Starmer has been invited to join Donald Trump for a private, informal meeting. Now, normally when two world leaders get together, there are civil servants and advisors in the room. Someone's always taking notes. This time, it could just be two men on the golf course talking about Ukraine or Gaza or trade tariffs, or perhaps just the Scottish weather. We simply won't know unless the president decides to post about it on social media. This is how Donald Trump likes doing diplomacy. Although I'm told Keir Starmer is not much of a golfer, so perhaps they'll just be walking the greens. Meanwhile, the Scottish government has said that John Swinney is also set to meet the US president. Again, no word on whether that's for a tea time or just for tea.
And Paris, there's also been confirmation of an official state visit later in the year.
That's right. Donald Trump will be back in the UK in September to be hosted by the King at Windsor Castle. That would keep him away from Parliament, which will be on recess, and also away from central London, so limiting the scope of any protests. Donald Trump is the first US president to be invited for 2 state visits. That's an honour that not everyone will agree with.
Paris in London, thank you. A man has appeared in court charged with the murder of another man in Aberdeen. 24-year-old Dylan Geddes was found badly injured in the Tillydrone area of the city on Thursday and died later in hospital. His family say they are absolutely devastated at his death. 25-year-old Brandon Booth made no plea at Aberdeen Sheriff Court today and was remanded in custody. A man who murdered his partner and then attempted to cover his tracks has been jailed for life with a minimum of 23 years. Ewan Methin offered no explanation as to why he attacked and killed Phoenix Spencer Horn at her home in East Kilbride last year. Methin's own defence admitted he had delivered the ultimate betrayal to the 21-year-old's family.
She was standing at the threshold of what should have been a long and fulfilling life. You were a trusted member of her family, but you betrayed that trust and robbed her of life in the cruelest way. I have this morning seen a letter written by you, but it answers none of the questions which must be plaguing the family. You blame the effect of substances, but that is no excuse.
6 months after its doors opened, staff at the UK's only legal facility where drugs can be injected say it saved more than 30 lives by preventing fatal overdoses. STV News has talked to a man we're calling Adam. He's been a regular user of the service where he injects cocaine and has access to welfare support. He says he's witnessed staff at the facility save lives.
This wasn't here, I'd be doing that car park just have a overdose. Well, they had a few hits. There's been a few people overdosing here in front of me. Boom, they're on it straight away. Saved them. If they were outside, you time the ambulance team, they'd have been gone. People are just like, yeah. It's happened about accepted help, you know.
Would you accept help now?
Yeah. Yeah.
The First Minister has described the deaths of 4 people during the weekend's heatwave as heartbreaking. Experts warn Scottish waters are still extremely cold and that cold water shock remains a risk throughout the summer months. Record-breaking temperatures drew many people out to Scotland's hotspots, but also led to multiple emergency incidents. Loch Lomond saw thousands of visitors, with rangers urging people to enjoy the site safely.
I think it's easy when you're relaxed and enjoy yourself and the water is so inviting on a hot day and you want to cool off. And I think some of the incidents we've seen in recent years have been people, they hadn't planned to go swimming or they haven't planned a water recreation activity. They've just wanted to go for a paddle and a swim to cool off. And it's really those situations that we're appealing to people that it is very unsafe to go into the water.
7 people have been charged in connection with a hate crime at a football match between St Mirren and Aberdeen in Paisley. The men aged between 19 and 23 and 2 male youths, both aged 16, have been charged with threatening and abusive behaviour at the game on the 3rd of May. A report has been submitted to the Procurator Fiscal. A man who supplied fireworks which were thrown at police officers during riots in Edinburgh has been given a home curfew. Georgian McMillan, who's 24, will have to stay inside between 7 p.m. and 6 a.m. for the next 10 months for his role in the violent scenes last bonfire night. Outside court today, he continued to deny responsibility.
You're sorry about what you've done, are you?
I'm not sorry for what I've done. I never done that. You haven't got me on CCTV. I never done nothing wrong.
You never did anything. You've been found guilty in the court and you've been sentenced today.
I've not been sentenced at all. I got a tag for something that they've not even got me on CCTV for.
Now, it's a condition that affects 1 in every 10 women in the UK. Polycystic ovary syndrome, also known as PCOS, affects the function of ovaries and could be linked to hormonal imbalances. An Aberdeen woman is sharing her experience to educate others on the effects. Reem Sattar has more.
It was so weird because I was like, right, okay, I've got an answer. But what do I do with the answer? Where do I go? How can I...
Heavy periods and severe fatigue were just some of the symptoms Stephanie endured after getting her first period. It took 8 years for her to get an answer as to why. After being told she has polycystic ovary syndrome, the only advice she was given was to lose weight.
I was in getting an ultrasound for suspected endometriosis and they picked up the cysts in my ovaries and they were just like, oh, you're going to have to speak to your GP about this. And then got told, lose weight, come back when you want to get pregnant. And that was it.
The cause of polycystic ovary syndrome, also known as PCOS, is still unknown. Symptoms can vary, which include unwanted hair growth, irregular periods, weight gain and acne. For Stephanie, exercise helps her manage the condition.
I actually started Pilates because of my PCOS, so I was always sore and my left side was always worse with more cysts, so I kind of started standing that my right would be forward, and I gave myself such a bad alignment. It's always kind of been a bit of a taboo subject almost, is talking about your actual periods and things like that. No one really does it, so I definitely think it would be good if it was a more open conversation.
The University of Aberdeen are currently working on an app to support those with PCOS. PCOS Buddy will allow women to track symptoms and access accurate information. It's hoped by collecting data, users can have more control of their care.
The most personal and challenging symptoms of PCOS is hirsutism, the growth of unwanted hair. For many, this symptom can have a significant emotional and psychological toll. That's why we've developed the world's first hirsutism tracker. You'll be able to approach your care with confidence, empowering you to make informed decisions.
Once the app is ready for use, it's hoped women like Stephanie will be able to receive better support. Reem Sitar, STV News.
An investigation is underway into the cause of a fire which ripped through a Dundee home early this morning. More than 40 firefighters were called to the incident at a block of 4 villas in the city's Roslyn Gardens shortly before 5 o'clock. Neighbours said no one was in the house when the blaze took hold and the other properties were safely evacuated.
I got a phone call from another neighbour at 5 o'clock this morning to say, are you in the house, to get out basically. But I wasn't in, so I walked up the road this morning and then come up and the bar next door neighbour's house was on fire. Obviously, it's burnt to...
Any effect on your property?
My roof's been took off, the damage my vehicle was sitting in the drive. To get that moved, so before that went on fire. Lucky enough to got that moved and never went on fire as well.
An Australian man has been charged with malicious mischief after glass protecting the Stone of Destiny was broken at Perth Museum. Visitors on Saturday afternoon reported a man in a kilt attempting to smash through the case. 35-year-old Arno Harricksold Logan from Sydney appeared at Perth Sheriff Court, where he made no plea and was remanded in custody. A teenager has been charged after a motorbike was driven dangerously through Dundee. Police received multiple reports of dangerous driving yesterday in the city centre, Broughty Ferry Road, Lochee Road and South Road areas. The 17-year-old male rider was later traced and charged. Now, a teenager who credits the bagpipes with saving her has now composed her own album. Katie Robertson from Carnoustie, who's known as the Wheeled Piper, has chronic health conditions and uses a wheelchair. Lynn Rankin reports.
For Katie Robertson, the street has been her stage and a way to win acceptance. The 18-year-old has curves in her spine from scoliosis, arthritis in her hands and lives in chronic pain. But playing the pipes has been the best medicine.
I first picked up the pipes in May 2021 and I didn't have a clue how much it would change my life. They got me through spinal surgery that I underwent a few months later, and they saved my life when I neared organ failure just a wee while ago.
Katie has now composed her own album. The misfortune of falling ill with COVID sparked a creative flair for writing her own tunes.
I could suddenly just come out with these new original phrases of music that I would keep on adding to them, and it would just evolve into fully fledged tunes. And then once I had one tune, I would then write another tune to go with it, and then another one to go with that. And I soon realised that these tunes weren't just compositions that sounded nice for the sake of it, but they were a way of me displaying my innermost emotions.
She's launched a fundraising campaign to help to record her self-penned album in a studio, and she's already nearing her target.
The eye is the window to the soul, and my soul is made up of music. You know, my heart and soul has went into creating music, and I just wanted to be able to show that.
The album will feature some of Katie's own artwork, images that reflect the meaning of the music. Titled Symbolism, the album is a story of Katie's life, one that she credits piping with saving. Lynn Rankin, STV News.
Now, the Island Games are officially underway in Orkney as 24 islands from across the globe gather to compete. Staged in Orkney for the very first time, thousands of athletes are taking part in 12 different sports, including athletics, swimming and gymnastics. The Games are in Scotland for the first time in 20 years. Gráinne Griachan reports.
It's the largest event in Orkney's history. Thousands from across the world have travelled for the International Island Games. Over the coming days, thousands of athletes will compete in 12 different sports across parts of Orkney, including here at the centre where 5 sports will be taking place. Her Royal Highness Princess Anne met with competitors as she officially opened the event.
A real welcome to all of the athletes, but especially the officials and volunteers and friends from across the island communities.
In a celebration of unity, the athletes paraded through the streets.
I feel like an officially adopted Orcadian, you know, which I really like because I love it up here. And the atmosphere has been just beautiful. Having royalty here, you know, the Princess Royal, that was amazing too, made it very, very special. And it's going to be great. And the weather, it's like the Maldives.
Come straight back to Owen Young. Owen Young has a chance to make it 3. She does!
The first day kicked off with 5 sporting events taking place. And there was some early success for Orkney, including in the women's 400 metres.
A different feeling at being here. It's going to be totally different having the home crowd behind us. And I think not just for me, but for everyone, hopefully it pushes them that extra bit further to perform to the best of our abilities. The whole build-up, everyone's definitely felt a bit more pressure, just even trying to get on the team. It's been a lot more competitive being at home games, but I think everyone's really risen to the challenge and put the work in, so hopefully it'll show in all our performances.
Competitors from across the globe say they've come to bring home gold.
Even though we're a small island, we've got marathon, we've got sailing, we've got squash, badminton, swimming. So we're very excited for all of these athletes to come and show their stuff. We are definitely bringing home gold. We come here for the gold.
The benefits have already rippled throughout Orkney, with streets bustling. Local businesses are feeling the boost.
Such a buzz. Everybody's so happy, so welcoming, and everybody looks great. And the sun's out, blue skies, beautiful. A friend of mine's running in the 5,000 metres. Very excited about that. And I'm sponsoring one of the girls in the football team, the women's football team.
We've got a lovely high street anyway. I think all the businesses take a real pride in the street. And you can just look around and see the effort everyone's going to for this. It's really looking at its absolute best. And, you know, with the sun shining, it just couldn't look better, really. Influx of people that's coming. I can't see that it's not going to be a busy week. You know, it's just, if we can get weather like this that brings people out, it's just absolutely amazing. There's a real buzz in the street already.
The competition will continue until this weekend. For Islanders, these games will certainly live long in the memory. Gráinne Griachan, STV News.
They most certainly will. Well, now it's time for all the sport. Here's Oliver.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
A very good evening. Football is very much back after the season break, after the first matches of the Premier Sports group phase kicked off at the weekend. Brecon City suffered a 7-0 thrashing at home at the hands of Falkirk, with Dylan Tate netting a hat-trick. Elsewhere, St Johnstone beat East Kilbride 3-0, Jamie Gullen securing his first goal for the club. And Brora Rangers were defeated by Kilmarnock, new signing Gennaro Daniels scoring his first goal on his first appearance. In the other matches, Ross County drew 1-1 with Stranraer, but were beaten 6-5 on penalties. Dundee lost 1-0 against Airdronians, and Peterhead were beaten 2-4 by Greenock Morton. Meanwhile, Inverness Cally Thistle are getting ready to face Elgin City in their first game of the season. David Wotherspoon makes his return to the club after leaving Dunfermline Athletic, while manager Scott Kelleher says he's glad to be putting the uncertainty around the club's future behind them and focus on the football.
In terms of what was going on, is the club going to be safe and that sort of thing. So no, it's really good, fresh start. Alan's come in and he's turned the whole club around, you know. He's gave it a whole new lease of life. So no, we're really grateful for what he's done, you know. So it's up to us to jump on board with that and try and make the club go forward in the right direction, and that starts with trying to do the right things on the football pitch.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be a difficult game. We know it's going to be a difficult game. They got beat by Wraith on Saturday, so I'm sure they'll be wanting to bounce back from that with a better performance. And yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but one that we're looking forward to get the competitive season up and running.
Well, turning to rugby, and Scotland players Darcy Graham, Rory Sutherland and Ewan Ashman have been called up to the British and Irish Lions squad as cover. The trio were with Gregor Townsend's Scotland squad for the Pacific Tour, who suffered defeat to Fiji at the weekend. Graham was sent off in the match as the Scots lost 29-14. Now, a Highland boxer, newly crowned Scottish and Commonwealth super lightweight champion, now has his sights set on a world title. Aidan Williamson secured both belts in his encounter with Jack Limond. Ian Ramage has more.
Is now the Scottish and Commonwealth Youth Super Lightweight Champion from all this.
21-year-old Highlander Aidan Williamson was unstoppable, comfortably overpowering Jake Limond, the Glasgow son of a former lightweight champion. While it never seemed in doubt, there was mutual respect.
It was a hard fight. I definitely felt like I'd won every round, and I'd sort of had the upper hand the whole way through from round one. So, but yeah, he was a good opponent, definitely.
The Ulness fighter counts his victory in East Kilbride his best so far. His Inverness Boxing Club trainer agrees.
I've never heard the judges come out with 100 points to 90 points every round. You know, that says it all, doesn't it, really, you know. But he was boxing brilliantly, and fair play, the other guy wasn't in it, you know.
Aidan dedicated his victory to his grandfather, Willie John, a keen supporter who died in May.
Everything was sort of dedicated to him that night, definitely. Before, obviously, he passed away, he said to me, I'll just bring these belts home. So that was sort of all I was really thinking about, was doing it for him, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. And he always sort of will be, because it was my granddad.
The new champion is maintaining a cool head, his feet firmly on the ground.
Definitely train hard, don't get too far ahead of yourself, always be willing to learn more and know that you're able to learn more and you've not cracked the sport, and just stay humble pretty much.
How good is he?
His amateur contest, his pro fights are even better. So we're getting there, you know, just see who they put up next, you know, and we'll have a look at it, you know.
The roofer has a head for heights, his ambition, the world title.
Now that I've got these two belts, sort of just keep training and train even harder than what I was, and just take anything that gets offered to me, and yeah, see how it goes from there.
That's all your sport, plenty more tomorrow night.
STV Sport, sponsored by the C.R. Smith Summer Sale.
Now here's Philip with a look at the weather forecast and some of those soaring temperatures we've been seeing.
Hello and a very good evening to you. Well, of course, it's been a very hot weekend for many of us. We officially reached heat wave status. Here are some of our top temperatures, the peak of which were on Saturday. Aviemore recorded a high of 32.2 degrees Celsius. It's the 7th time that we've reached 32 degrees since 1961, and it's the first time we've seen 30 degrees since the 13th of June 2023. Some other top spots: Achnagar reached a high of 31.8 degrees Celsius and Kinlochhew 31.3. All change now though as we head into the new working week. Those temperatures more on average for the time of year. Let's take a closer look. Here is your forecast.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors STV weather.
Well, we're starting the new working week with low pressure dominating our weather. That's what's replaced the high pressure that was in charge over the weekend, giving us those hot conditions. Now, the low pressure sticks around throughout the first half of the week, but some models are suggesting that come Wednesday, it's looking fairly decent and more settled. We'll get to that in just a minute. Back to just now as we head into the overnight period. That frontal system that's brought today's showers is continuing to steadily track north and northeastwards. So behind it, a quieter night to come, some drier and clearer spells. It also means that temperatures will be dropping away. It will be feeling fresher overnight and more comfortable than what we've been seeing over the weekend. Lows of around 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. Then looking ahead to tomorrow morning, a fairly dry, decent start to the morning first thing. Later on in the afternoon, though, there is the risk of some showers spreading in from the south and the southeast. Some of those could merge together into longer spells of rain throughout the course of the afternoon, turning more showery by the time we get to tomorrow evening once again. Temperature-wise, more on average for the time of year, reaching highs of around 18 or 19 degrees Celsius. Then looking ahead to Wednesday, we'll see a brief ridge of high pressure extending its influence across the country, so a largely dry day to come for many of us. Plenty of sunny spells and highs of around 19 or 20 degrees Celsius. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Now, you may have noticed we're in a new set. It's a temporary home while we kit out a brand new studio for the STV News at 6. From everybody here, good night.